say if you fall off the temple, if somebody pushes you off the temple, but he said, cast thyself down. Yeah. Self-destruct, because listen, I've got a verse for you that says that if you just jump, he'll take care of you. Right. Now, let me just nail this down right now. He's not going to jump. That's right. You say, why is he not going to jump? Because he's never been out of the will of God. That's right. And he's never been anywhere where God's will was not the purpose of it. And it would not be God's will for him to jump. And he's not going to jump just to prove something. He's got nothing to prove to the devil. He's got the will of God for his life, and that's all he needs. And it is through his suffering that he learned obedience. And somebody said, well, what would be wrong with it? Isn't it all right? He says, honey, I want you to know, life is not about what's right and what's wrong. It's about what God's will is and you being obedient to it. Amen. We live in a nation that everybody's listening to the debates, whether it's politically or economically. Everybody, I'll tell you what I think it ought to be. Well, I'll tell you what I think. Oh, shut up! I don't care what you think. I don't care what your degrees are. I don't care what you're so good at. All I want to know is what's he got to say about it. His will. Did you know that the devil only ever had one door into humanity? And that door was disobedience. And it was opened by man. And I'm going to tell you something. He has had his parade and his party with humanity ever since that door opened. And there's only going to be one. It only takes one door to get rid of it. And that's obedience. Trust and obey. There's no other way to be happy. And you can't just claim a little bit of religion and live like the devil and think everything's going to be all right. You're going to self-destruct. Jump off the pinnacle. I got a verse for you. Yeah. Now I know he's not going to do that, but doesn't he tempt us? How many scallywags and scuttlebugs have claimed Romans 8:28 for a life that has been lived in disobedience? Oh, preacher, all things work together for good to them love God and call according to his purpose. Yes, it does. But if you live like hell on one hand, you can't expect heaven on the other hand. If you lay down in Delilah's lap, honey, you're going to wake up with Delilah. You're self-destructing and then trying to hope God's going to patch it up on the other side. Lay down with the dogs, you get up with the flames. It is what it is. Oh, listen, go ahead and jump. God will do it all. Well, God will take care of you. No, he said, I'm not going to jump. That was not in God's will when he sent me here. I'm here to tell you that it's hard to tempt a fella that's only concerned about the work of God, and only concerned is the will of God. Hey, young person, you say, well, young lady, I said, I like the boy, he goes to church, and his parents is all right. That don't mean he's for you. He may go on and make a good preacher and serve God, but it doesn't mean he's for you. Don't listen to that. God, yeah, but I know a young lady, I tell you, I believe she, no, don't mean she, it ain't a matter of, well, what's wrong with her? She's a good girl, what's right with her? It's not a matter of right or wrong. What's God's will in it? Don't just jump. It's too far down. And it's going to hurt when you hit the bottom. You're right. Amen. trust God with this hand and tempt him with the other. It ain't going to work. If you live like hell, you're going to hell. Huh? Yeah, I went down the altar. I remember when you still got hell in you, that's where you go. Tom grabbing some verse and quoting it to me and say, well, I think John is okay. I remember when he used to sing Jesus Lives. And he's lived like hell. I got no hope you're going to heaven. This is the Son of God. He ain't going to jump. It's not God's will.
That's good. Yes.
How we ought to be concerned with our lives. So I'm going to understand right now. I ain't going to let that man talk. I ain't doing what he says. So go ahead. And honey, the moment that you say that, you get out of the will of God, you can feel the breeze of the bright door open because the devil just stepped in. And that's why your family's going through hell right now. You took lightly what God meant serious. He meant these things to be obeyed. And if they're not obeyed, honey, the devil steps in. And he ain't going to leave until somebody shuts that door and says to him, get out and don't come back. From here on out, it's God's will for my life. Somewhere back through the histories of the generations of families, somewhere back there, there was some godly people, but somebody opened the door and said, well, I think this will be all right for me. It may not be all right for somebody else. There came the devil in, and alcohol, drugs, pornography. And you see it in the children. It just runs like a river. But every now and then, one of them youngins will get a hold of Christ, and Christ will get a hold of him. He'll say, you know, I don't want this stuff. I want your will. Get out and stay out. You ain't hanging around here. Then notice that next temptation. And again, the devil taking them up into an exceeding high mountain, showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. He is the God of this world. And saith unto him, all these things. That's a pretty big package. I wonder how many folks have been offered that since Adam. Will I give thee? If thou wilt fall down and worship me. But notice in verse number 10 how Jesus responds. Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou worship. He's tempting Jesus to what I would say self-consume. Here you go, if you want it, you can have it. The desires, the lusts, the cravings, the power, the positions. It was high place. We got no idea what's going on in Washington with people who are being made offers of the devil to take positions. I can't understand for the life of me why a man would want to be the president unless the devil had something to do with his life. Because it's a place of power. And listen to the Democrats and Republicans. It ain't real issues. It's trying to get the job. President of the United States. And if he gets it, then I might be appointed in some office. Oh, the devil is offering people on every level something all the time. And he has so much to offer. But there's a price tag on it. It's always one price tag, and it's always one price. You only have to pay one price. You say, what is that? He said, worship me. The Bible said they that worship Him must worship Him in what? Spirit. That's the center of who you are. And truth. And then the scripture said that in the commandments, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind. That's worship. So the deal is, the devil said, if you want it, I'll give it to you. But all you got to do is give me all you are. I want your very being. I want your heartbeat. I want your passion. I want your spirit. I want your drive. I want you. And all you've got to do is bow down and give me you. And I will give you this. Oh, we don't have to look far to find those that have sold out to the devil. Amen. Whitney Houston. Sad, so sad. A voice that could have been used for God. Elvis Presley, king of rock and roll, dying in his own slime and vomit. Because you see, the same devil that gives you this world will slowly but surely, you watch entertainers, you watch Hollywood, you watch those that rise as sports figures, they slowly begin to lose their life. There's no brightness and shining in their eyes. It is gradually being sucked out of them. And that's why, you know this, brother Lance, that's why they have to go on drugs, that's why they have to go to alcohol, that's why they have to go to marijuana, because life is leaving them and they need something to keep them going. The devil will suck it all out of you, young person. Yeah, he'll give you that, but he'll suck the life out of you with it. He'll drain you until there's nothing left but death. Here's something. Understand this. The devil will never offer you anything but what God has already promised you. Huh? He that delivered up his son for you all, how will he not with him freely give you all things? He won't suck the life out of you. He'll give you life and life more abundant. You can enjoy it of Him too. Amen. Amen. He's already given it to you. But here's the thing. You can't take a shortcut. No shortcuts. What He's offering Jesus is a shortcut. He said, "You come to be king, but listen, the kind of king that you're going to be, it's going to be it's going to be a horrible road. You're going to have to go through persecution and trials, and you're going to have to go to a cross and death. But hey, I'll give you all of this today. Just give and worship me. I got a shortcut. The devil's got a shortcut for all of us, but honey, God's already got it for you. If you just take His route and be obedient and walk with Him, I promise you, He's got for you what you need." Amen.
Juice?
You say, can you prove that? Well, this old boy I got saved 43 years ago. Look at him. I got no sad tales. Oh, there's been trouble and trials. Haven't been able to take no shortcuts. It's all been straight road, straight and narrow. It's a straight and narrow. Oh, honey, it's so good to walk with Him on the straight and narrow. Amen. My God will supply all your needs. Right. His riches and glory, right? You won't even have to worry about the election. Somebody said, "But we're so worried about who I get in there." Well, they're all the same. One fella said, "Right wing, left wing, they're both a part of the same old herd."
Amen.
And I've always thought, I'm just going to be honest, I shouldn't even be political, I'm not trying to be, but I've always, voted Republican because